Well, our learning together time each week is meant to be that time at which we learn together. When the building is full of people, as it always is, this is the time at which we have the kids come to the front and we have a little bit of a conversation, and apparently I've rented lips again this morning, but we have a little bit of a talk, shorter word, and we talk about stuff, and sometimes we tell a story, which we're going to have a story in just a moment. Point is, there's some interaction. And I always hope, of course, that when I invite kids to the front and I say, anyone who's feeling childlike today, some adults will come and be childlike with us. That's a hint for future reference. But it's also the time in which we need to perhaps take care of a little bit of family business. It's for everybody, because usually it's after that time when the kids are here at the front that they go to do their own thing while the adults have a nap. The rest of the service, when there's a lot of talking. And it's a time for all ages, in other words, and that's really appropriate today because this is also the time at which we might say celebrate things like birthdays, anniversaries, and things like that. And today, I mean, that's for this week really, right? But today specifically, yesterday was Harmony's birthday. She was 8, and I have been asked to mention that Crystal Waldron is having a birthday. She is more than 8. Bonnie did tell me I should say her age, but I'm not going to, even though I made a joke last week about Bonnie and Ken celebrating their 146th birthday. But the point is, it's for everybody, right? It's kind of an all-in thing, which you might want to remember when the story comes up in just a second. But first, birthdays. So if you're having a birthday this week, and I recognize that there's some later in the week coming up, which we'll celebrate next week too, because you can never not celebrate a birthday. So happy birthday, Harmony and Crystal. Anyone else who's celebrating a birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Harmony and Crystal, and everybody else. Happy birthday to you. Well, every year we also have a day set aside that we call Earth Day, which is coming up this Thursday. So the church tends to, of course, go with the Sundays around it, and so today is our Sunday. But you might think, in a way, that's a little bit like a birthday for the earth. It's a day when we might want to remember our relationship with the earth and what that's all about, and celebrate the earth for all of the gifts that it offers us. Not just the ways we can use it or abuse it, but the gifts that it offers us and what our relationship with the earth might be like. And so after that lengthy intro, here's a little bit of an intro to the story, and a great story about my friend, the earth. Yep, that's my bare feet. And they're on the soon-to-be, I hope, green grass in our backyard. It might seem like I'm just sitting out here enjoying the sun, which I am, actually, because, it's the spring and it's Alberta. The weather changes every day. Who knows what it'll be like tomorrow. But I'm actually doing something very important too. I am grounding, or earthing. Some people call it earthing or grounding. And that's the idea. That's the idea that when we take off our shoes and socks and put our bare feet on the bare ground, we can connect to the earth's energy. Remember that story from way back at the beginning of the Bible about how God creates everything, and then God creates human beings, not just from God's spirit in God's image, but from the ground that's already been created. So we are part of the earth, but over time we've become kind of disconnected from the earth. We spend a lot of time inside, walking on floors and stuff. We wear shoes a lot. We've lost touch, like real touch with the earth. And when we take off our shoes and socks, or we stick our hands in dirt when we're gardening, we're reconnecting with the earth. And that means we can reconnect with the earth's energy. And that's good for us. It's good for us because it reconnects us with the energy, but it's also good for us, I think, because it reminds us that we're part of the earth. We are part. We're not on, we're of the earth. We're both, as Jesus says, divine and of the earth, just like Jesus. And it's important to remember that. And it's important to remember, especially right now when it's kind of hard for us to touch each other, to hug and embrace and hold each other's hands and stuff, because of this whole pandemic thing that's happening. It's important to remember not only that we are part of each other, but we're also part of the earth. And it's spring now, and we can take our shoes and socks off, and we can stand on the earth. The earth is part of us, and we are part of the earth. Here's a great story. Here's a great story about Mother Earth and how important the earth is. My Friend Earth, written by Patricia McLachlan and illustrated by Francesca Sanna. My friend Earth wakes from a winter nap. She hears the busy spring sounds, the farmer's hoe tapping in the garden, the caws of crows. She sees the little, the silent seed, the spider spinning silver, the robin and the wrens. And the large, the long-winged albatross crossing the sea, the mole tunneling in the underdark. She guides the chimpanzee to her night nest, and the zebra baby to find his mother in the hundreds of black and white striped mothers. She tends the prairie where sun-dappled wild horses run through the grasses that swish against their legs. The tundra where the reindeer graze for moss, and the glistening ice where the young polar bear pads on mittened feet. She guards all the creatures in all the oceans, the black manta rays, sleek like shadows, the shining parrotfish, the tiny krill who swim with millions of other krill to look big, and the whales who are big. My friend Earth pours the summer rain to fill streams, flowing down mountains, through the fields, to the rivers, to the sea. Sometimes she pours too much rain, flooding towns and meadows and roads, until she dries the land. Sometimes she blows fierce autumn winds, sweeping the limbs of trees and shingles from the roofs of barns. Until she stills the wind, so red and orange and yellow leaves float to the ground. When cold comes again, my friend Earth sprinkles the snow, whisper silent, covering the dens where the baby black bears are born in soft darkness, drifting over the icy pond where the turtle sleeps in mud, settling and to the empty nests of birds. Under the white, the silent seed is cradled in the dark soil, watching. Waiting. To fly up again in the warm, bright sun of spring.
Blade of grass, each honey tree, each bit of mud and stick and stone is blood and muscle, skin and bone. And just as I need every bit of me to make my body fit, so earth needs grass and stone and tree.